Hi, team. Okay, it is time to talk taxes. Now, I am not a tax person, and let's see. We're going to see who of you I can get on. Who will actually notify that I am on. Okay. So leaders, please tag your downlines in this so they know what to do as well. The more that they start doing this stuff now, the easier it will be for them next year, especially if they're brand new. Okay. Okay. So here's what I was always told with PR. I feel like this is a weird angle. Here's what I was always told with PR is unless you have a huge team or you're doing big, high numbers like me, you most likely will not owe anything. You're going to have a lot of write-offs with your business. You're going to have a lot of things. When you start looking at your numbers, when I'm going through these things with you, you're probably not going to end up, it's going to end up looking like you didn't make a lot of money because you have a lot of write-offs, okay? So for me, doing $280,000 in sales, I usually don't end up owing more than like $10,000 in taxes. So, because there's so many write-offs, okay? So I highly recommend that you guys have paper and a pen and you guys are writing these down as we go. Now, like I said, I am not a tax person. I can tell you which numbers you need, and I can tell you we use TurboTax. I am not an LLC. Everything is done under my SOCH, and we have taken our taxes after we did them ourselves. We took them to a professional tax guy, and he made sure that we were doing it correctly because we didn't want to get multiple years in the business and then be like, I don't know what to do. So we do use TurboTax. It literally walks you through everything, and I am going to kind of give you guys the basics of what we were told by him and show you there's a report that you will need for your taxes and where to find it. And then once Eric and I are actually working on taxes, I can go through and actually tell you where we input these different numbers. But for right now, these are the numbers you need to gather. So if you have a tax person who is doing things for you, these are what they're going to be looking for, okay? So first thing is if you are brand new, we're brand new to the business in 2020, it's gonna ask for your inventory, and they're gonna want to know your inventory for the beginning of the year or wherever you started, beginning and then the end of the year. So the easiest way to do inventory is there's a couple different ways, okay? So first of all, if you started in 2020, your starting number for inventory is 0 because you literally didn't have anything, right? And then you can either add up all of the things that you bought at your cost, and that you added up what you bought, and then you subtract what you sold at your cost, and then that is the number that you would need for your ending inventory. Always do it as your cost, not retail, okay? The other way to do it is there are people who do this every year, depending on how much inventory you actually have. If it's not thousands and thousands of dollars worth like mine, then if you can literally take 15 minutes to 30 minutes and go through your inventory and actually count up and add the inventory that you have in your house, that is another way that you can find your ending inventory for the year. And then there's people who on January 1st, you would start with that same number where you left off for December 31st for the year before. That is your new starting number for the following year. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. You need to calculate your profit from parties and outside sales. If you don't know how to do that, I will kind of walk you through that. But if you have all of your orders from corporate, or not from corporate, your business, like if you're actually writing out your order forms, we told you to keep everything for your business, right? So your order forms, they're usually 2-ply. So you tear off the one and give that to your customer, and then you keep the top copy for you, the white copy. So you have it for taxes. And then you add up what you made off of that order with your discounts or anything that you gave, what your actual profit was. And then what I do is I put it in an actual spreadsheet. So let me see, I'm going to pull up my spreadsheet and show you what it looks like. I do have this posted in our team page. So if you are like, I didn't know what that was, this is what I do for that. So let's see. Taxes. Hold on. PR taxes. There we go. Okay. So 2019. We're going to do 2019 right now because I haven't done my stuff yet for 2020. We're working on it now. So there's 2 things that I have. One is my inventory. So that's everything that all my orders that I did from corporate. I just call it inventory. But it's basically all of my orders. So I'm going to try and swap this around for you guys and you guys can see it. So it looks like this. And I literally have like what the date was that it was ordered, the order number, whether it was free product. And I literally just fill it in with my actual order forms from corporate. And this is what I actually paid. Now, if you have orders that were done online, you do not worry about that. Corporate should be sending you a document, I believe, for outside orders and for your any bonuses that you made last year. So the other one, the inventory one, if you're like, where is that document? If you go and you search team and you search, I think there's a unit that we called taxes. If there's not, look up files. If you click files, and there should be something in there that says taxes or inventory. And the inventory one would be the one that I use to put all my orders. So they're all on there except for ones that are for, that were done online. Okay. And then the other one that I have is my actual parties, profit, outside sales, all of that stuff. So it looks like this. And you guys, yours will be much shorter. Yours will not take you the amount of time that mine does. But this is what my stuff looks like. So these were all in-home parties in 2019. This was the hostess. This was the retail that was sold. This was the discount that I gave. This was the total for the discounted retail. This was my cost to order, shipping. I collected, tax I collected. If I gave out any gifts for doorbuster prize or anything like that, then these are my credit card fees from that party. And then this was my actual profit. So the reason why I do this is because then at the bottom, then I have these totals. And this is what I need for taxes. All of this stuff, okay? And I'll come back to these in a minute. Over here, so I have this huge column over here that's all my parties, right? And I have it broken down by month. And then here I have all of my outside orders that are the exact same way, broken out by month. And then I took all of these and I brought it over here, and these were my actual totals. So this is my total for outside orders. This is my total from parties. And then when I add them together, these were my actual totals for 2019. Okay. Now, I just have this as my spreadsheet that we can pull from that has everything on there at once. mainly because corporate stuff I would hope would be accurate, but sometimes I find their stuff doesn't always work the best, and so I want to cover my ass and make sure that my stuff is, matching up and what it should be and all of that. So I'm covering myself with this, okay? Now, these numbers are important because I'm going to start telling you these, so you make sure you have paper and a pen, okay? Okay, so first thing you're going to do is you're going to add up everything you bought from corporate for last year. All your retail. Do not add in business supplies. That goes in somewhere else. So everything that you ordered that was retail, you need to add that up. And then you need to know how much that retail actually cost you. So for me, it's easy because I'm at 50%, right? For you guys, it might be less if you're at 30 or 40 or 45%, okay? And if you were at that percentage the whole year, then that's super easy to figure out because you just add up everything that you bought and then you calculate it by, if you were at 30% discount, you'd multiply it by 0.7 because that's how much you paid for it, right? Because you only got a 30% discount. So you would have paid 70%. So that number, you're going to take that number and then you're going to subtract what you sold. So all of the calculations that you did for here, let me switch this around. So this is everything that I did, right? So down here was my retail sales. And I know my cost to order it back for everything was this. So this number is going to get subtracted from what I bought from corporate, okay? Your tax people need that number. If you're like, well, I'm doing my taxes myself, and I don't know where I would put that number in, then I can, like I said, Eric and I are working on taxes, and when we're actually doing it, I will keep track of where we're putting in those numbers into TurboTax, and then I can let you know, okay? Because half the time we get to taxes and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Where do we put this number? All this stuff. And so we actually wrote it down last year. We have Post-it notes on all the different things. So we know. And we got to pull that from last year to be able to do that again this year. Now you need your shipping number. So you're going to add up how much you paid corporate for shipping. And actually, let me show you something that could make your life easier for this. My only thing with this report is that this report was not correct 2 weeks ago when I was on a call with corporate. And when I asked them about it, they said they were going to figure out why mine was off $10,000. And I haven't heard anything back yet. So let me see if they fixed it yet. So basically, you would go to your online office, and you guys can do this while we're doing this. And hold on, let me find it. Okay, so let me flip this around. So you're going to go to reports, go to view reports. And then over here, business reports, you're going to go to purchase details. Now, this is going to tell me for 2020, see, this is still off. This is telling me this is $12,000 off of what I actually did last year. So when I called corporate and I asked them about that, they said, don't do your taxes until we have this number fixed. But because I do my spreadsheet and I don't rely on them for this report, I feel like I'm okay doing taxes because I don't really use this report. But this is an easy way for you guys, if your numbers look right on it, to be able to not have to calculate all that stuff out. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Okay, so if this were correct, here would be my retail for the year. This would be how much it actually cost me to buy it. Okay? So this would be the number that I could use for my discounted retail to know if I add up all of what I bought from corporate, right? This would be this. And then I would subtract out what I sold at my cost from my parties or my outside orders. Now, this tells me that my average buying discount was 52%. And it tells you like every month, this is where your buying average was. So of course I'm always over 50% because that's my buying discount. Here's 57%. I think that's when they had a couple of 60% off sales. So you can see you always want your stuff to be more than what it should be. So like mine's 50. I technically should be buying only on sale days, which I feel like I always am. Every once in a while I get hit where I have to, like tonight, I'm going to have to place an order for that one lingerie that's dropping. And I have to do it because it's a limited edition lingerie and I have one person ordering it. So I'm going to have to place it tonight. And that's not going to be with a sale. So this, there's days like that aren't the best to order, but so that ended me there, right? This is telling me the shipping that I collected for the year for 2020. Here's the tax I collected for the year for 2020. So this is what, and then here's free product tax because I have to pay that, right? So if you got any free product, make sure that you're adding that tax to this tax. And then business supplies. So you're going to need that business supply number also. Okay? Okay, now, let me flip that around. Okay, so shipping. You're going to add up how much you paid corporate for shipping, which is on this report that I just did, but you have to make sure your report is accurate first. Okay, mine's still not accurate. Okay, so if yours looks accurate and your retail and stuff looks correct, then you're good to go. Okay, then you want to add how much you paid Pirate Ship or Stamps.com if you shipped things. Or maybe you drove your stuff over to the post office every time you needed to ship something and they gave you receipts. If they did, always, guys, hold on to your receipts. And then I highlight on the receipts where the total was that I spent. And that goes for everything. If you are a leader and you are mailing cards or anything to your team and you're using postage, like actual stamps, that all counts. All of these things add up, okay? So you add those two things, what you paid corporate for shipping, and then whatever you paid to Pirate Ship, Stamps.com, any of that. If you're like, crap, I don't have my number for that. Guys, I cannot express to you how important it is to have a credit card to use for your business. And the reason why I say that is because I use my Citi Double Points card for everything for my business. And then at the end of the year, I pull up every statement for each month of the previous year online and I print it. And then I go through every single transaction that I did for the year and I highlight, oh, that was shipping. Shipping's going in orange. And I have multiple highlighters and my statements by the end are like all color coded with different things that had to do with my business. So I do that because if I miss something, you know how those receipts, because they're kind of like heat activated. If you have them in your bag and your bag gets hot or it rubs against something, your receipt can like rub off and then you're like, crap, I need that number for taxes. So I highly, highly recommend having a card that you're using just for business that you then pay off every single month. You just like, that's what I do. It's zero balance. I pay it every single month. I pay everything off. So, I would go through there. So like what I always forget is I was using Stamps.com and Stamps.com charges me $16 a month just to use the service on top of doing all the shipping and stuff that I do with them. So I have to highlight all of that and incorporate that into my shipping costs too. Now that I've started using Pirate Ship does not charge you a monthly fee. You're just paying for the postage that you're using from them. And so there's no monthly fee I'm going to have to watch for with them. Okay. You should be able to get shipping reports. If you're using Pirate Ship, you can go into reports, and pretty sure you can print the report from January 1st to December 31st for last year. Print that off, and it should have all of that on there as well. Okay. So when you add those up, what you paid corporate for shipping, and then everything else you paid to whatever other shipping stuff you're using, add all that up, and then you need to subtract out the amount of shipping that you collected from your clients. So you have to remember, everything that you paid, you're collecting some of it back from your clients. So you need the final number that you're left with, right? So if corporate, you paid $100 in shipping and you collected $25 in shipping from your clients, that's a $75 difference, and you can write off that difference on your taxes as extra shipping. So you also have to remember, if any of you are carrying inventory, it's probably going to show that you lost money because you haven't gotten rid of that inventory yet. And so it's going to look like a loss when really you're just sitting on it. You just haven't sold it yet. Does that make sense? Okay. Your kit is a write-off. Your starter kit is a write-off. Taxes. So taxes, how much you paid corporate for taxes, which we just had on that report that I showed you, the purchase details report. However much you collected for taxes, or you paid for taxes. Like last year, I paid almost $26,000 in taxes to corporate. That's a lot of freaking taxes. And then you have to subtract off what you collected from your clients for taxes. Okay. And then the difference is a write-off. It's extra taxes, and it's a write-off, because you paid more than you got back. And so that was out of your pocket. So it's a write-off. Okay. So you just need to get these numbers together. And then if you have a tax person doing it, they can figure out where these different things go. But like I said, we're working on our taxes. And once we start going through it, I need to make a video that we can just keep in here all the time. Plus everything's changing with taxes all the time, guys. So I'm just giving you the basics because this is the easiest way for me to think about it. You know, you've paid this into corporate, you've gotten money back from your clients. What's the difference? That should be your question with everything that you do. I paid this to corporate. What did my clients pay me? The difference, boom, it's a write-off. Okay. Now, fees. This is a big one. So you should be getting something in the mail from like PayPal, or if you have used PayPal, a client has paid you with PayPal, there's a report on there that you can print for taxes, and it will tell you, it should tell you the amount of fees that you had to pay, because people use PayPal and they didn't have an account tied to their transaction, and so it's going to charge you a fee when they use PayPal. Same thing with credit card fees. You should be getting something for your credit card fees. It's like it'll come in the mail, and it's going to be this big number, depending on what your sales are. But those, you add up those, and those are transaction fees. That's a write-off. Okay. And that's a big one. Which is why I always try to make sure, because that's just money lost, right, guys? When you see that number and you're like, holy crap, that was a lot of money that I paid in fees. That is money out of your pocket, out of your profit, right? Because you paid it, but they could have paid you Venmo or Cash App, Facebook Pay, and it would have been free. So those fees, you want to try and keep those as low as possible. Which is why if you don't have all the free options, I would recommend you get that, right? So Venmo, Cash App, Facebook Pay, you can only do so many transactions, and then it'll flag you as a business and it won't let you do any more. So I try and avoid that as much as possible. But most people have Venmo or Cash App, and I always offer that first. I'm like, do you have Venmo or Cash App? And if they're like, oh, I don't have either one of those. Okay, well, I can do a card or I can do PayPal. But I always try and push them towards those two because that's free for me. A lot of people want to use credit cards because that gets them points for things, and they don't care necessarily that you're going to pay a fee on a transaction, but you care if you pay a fee on a transaction. So you want to try and keep that as low as possible. Okay. Okay. Next one, which was way less for last year. But I will tell you guys, shipping last year for me is going to be astronomical. But instead of me driving everywhere and having a super high mileage, my mileage was way low and my shipping is way high, right? So it all ends up, it's going to end up being a wash. So mileage, you need to keep track of all of your mileage to and from parties and to and from anything business related. If you drove to the post office to get postage or mail something, write it down. It's mileage. If you drove to Office Depot to pick up something for orders or for your business, it's a write-off. So every place you go, you need to keep track of your mileage because that is a write-off, okay? Business supplies. Now, business supplies, you're going to get your business supply number from that purchase details report that I told you from corporate, if it looks accurate. If it doesn't, legit, guys, if you guys don't know how to do this and you don't have a printer, you're going to need a printer. And that's a write-off because it's a business supply. But everybody needs a printer. And the reason why is because here, if you guys go to your sales, right? And you click only your consultant orders, right? It does not apply to anything that was like a free product order. It also does not apply to like if you had something shipped on Thursday, like a back order that'll show up on there. It also does not apply to your online orders that you got. So order history, all of these, you need to print all of these out for taxes. I literally have a stack that I use all year. And this, to get this to print right, hold on, I'll have to hold my phone and see if I can get it. You have to hold down, if you're on Apple, you have to hold down, I think, Command and then click this. No. Hold on. There we go. Control and right click and change this to single page. And then you can go file print and print it out. So what I just had Soph do was I had Soph print all of these. Well, I had printed all of these. We put them all in order by, if you look down here, come on. If you look down here, it's going to tell you the date, your order date, which this was 2/7. So I had Soph organize them all in order. She literally pulled up this and was going through, like, if we went back here, she was pulling up this and then she was literally just going through the order numbers and putting them in order and making sure we weren't missing any, because I'm very good about printing mine out, but we wanted to make sure we weren't missing any. So she printed all of those for me. She organized them for me. And then I had her go through and do my spreadsheet that I showed you with all of those orders for taxes, mainly because, as you can see on my purchase details report, mine is not correct. So it's a $12,000 difference right now. And that is not going to help me because if I want to do taxes and I want to do them now, like how long am I going to wait for corporate to fix that? So I can instead use my numbers that I know are accurate from my spreadsheet instead. So if you're using purchase details, make sure that it's accurate. Okay. Now, with the purchase details on that report, it's going to show business supplies. Or if you print out all of your individual orders on there, it breaks out business supplies separately. So if you don't know what that looks like all of your foil packs, all of your catalogs, anything like that that you ordered, that goes under business supplies. If you guys don't know this, if you order grab bags from corporate, we never know what's in those. Very rarely you'll get like a really good toy that's like being discontinued, but for the most part, it's these like crap toys that we don't know what they are, and I don't even know where they get them. And people usually open it and they're like, I don't even know what this is. And I think it's like 15 or 17 bucks or something, and it doesn't count towards retail for you. That counts as a business supply. So just an FYI, if you're getting those thinking that those are retail, they are not. So, okay, at the bottom here, let's see, retail. No, not that. Okay, so I just had to do every year, when you're close to your anniversary, it's going to have you do your, I think it's actually, I don't know if it's January. Sorry, guys. Oh, it's going to have you do business tools. And I think it's $25 for your website for the year. And it's always around your year anniversary. Okay, so let me find one of mine that has actual business supplies on it so I can show you how it's broken out. Okay, so here, nope, that's all retail. Where's, hold on a minute. Hush. Okay, so I know I got, oh my God, did I not get any? Maybe I haven't gotten any business supplies this month. Hold on. I'm going to find one from, and you also need to collect donations. So if you guys have done donations to Patty Bursman at all, and it shows you, it's going to show you that on all of these that you print out. I always put that on my spreadsheet as well, and then I can, you can write that off as a donation. Okay, so this was a big one, end of the year last year. Let's see if this has any. Okay, so look, this has 6 packs on it. Dirty French. Let's see. So down here. Okay, so they're calling it business tools. $28. So they just changed the name of it. I'm going to have to complain about that. That's confusing to people. Business tools instead of business supplies. But this is business supplies, okay? So anything that you see that says business supplies is this. And you want that along with every other business supply that you have done. And what that means is if you shopped at Office Depot, if you got labels at Office Depot, if you bought paper for your business, if you bought a printer, if you bought an iPad, if you bought a phone, if you bought anything from, guys, literally everything is a write-off, okay? So all of those, I usually have all my receipts for those. If I don't, I literally go into my credit card statement and I highlight all of the different ones that were Office Depot because I know that all of those are just office supplies, and business supplies. And so all of that gets added up. And then business supplies, there's a place in your TurboTax. It's all business, what do you want to call it? Business write-offs under TurboTax, and it'll say business supplies. And you literally just go in and you put in that number. But everything is a write-off, guys. Which is why if you're like, oh, I want an iPad so I can do Quick Sale, which is the system that I use, you could go buy an iPad and it's a write-off for your business for taxes. Okay? You just keep the receipt. Okay. And then last one that I would tell you about is team incentives or bridal shows, vendor events, anything like that. If you have anything that you've bought for any member of your team, If you guys bought the stuff for Christmas when we had the Christmas exchange, right? And you had somebody and it was $20 and we traded for Christmas, right? That all counts. If you, donated to team for anything, if you, like we did the lube last year, right? For the women with cancer, anything like that, you need to keep track of that. And that goes under write-offs, under advertising. So my advertising is always huge because I've got the bridal shows and stuff on there, okay? And I do all the incentives and stuff for you guys. That's all of that. All of that is under advertising, okay? And then I'm going to tell you one more thing. I can't think of it right now. So hopefully that gives you a place to start. If you don't know how to calculate your profit from a party, let me know and we will talk. So you have all those numbers and you can just input them into the spreadsheet. It's really easy, guys. Don't get overwhelmed. Just remember everything goes in. The other thing is all of your utilities. Your utilities, you can write off for having an office in your house. You can write off phone, internet, all these different things. All of those count. If you guys come over and we have team here, and I buy pizza for everybody, I can write that off as advertising. If anything that you eat, if you stop to and from a party and you get food, hold on to those receipts. You can write that off. So there's so many write-offs. If you're like, I don't know if this is a write-off, just message me and I can let you know. At least that food one used to be. I think it is. Oh, if you guys are going to national training, make sure you guys are keeping track of that. Your hotels are write-off. Gas is a write-off. Food is a write-off. Hotel, I think I just said that. All of that is a write-off. The fees for registering for national training, that's a write-off. All of that goes under training. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm going to go. I have to go place that order for that one thing of lingerie. But I will post this. I am going to post a new incentive for you guys and do the poll for the goal setting. So just be watching tonight. I'll do that in the next half an hour. But other than that, hopefully this is helpful. A way to give you guys a good start. Hopefully your tax people will be able to help you if you have a tax person. Like I said, I am not a tax person. I'm just telling you the basics of what I know to do. Okay? Okay. Bye, guys.